Hello. It is March 3rd, 2025. It's somewhere around 2 p.m. Oh, I have a watch. I could check this, right? Yeah, 2:12 p.m. Getting out for my daily walk. Figured I would go ahead and try to record today's episode while on my walk. It's a little windy, and I'm trying out a new mic. From the quick test that I did setting this up, it sounds really nice. It sounds way better than just like the internal phone microphone, especially on a windy day such as today. Whereas I probably just wouldn't have recorded outside at all on a day like today, just like with the phone microphone. And I've got a little phone mic, not a phone mic, a lavalier mic that I bought. It just clips onto my collar here, and I bought this one specifically because it seemed to be the most low profile one that you could get, at least in a certain sense, right? Like this is for those beginning creators. This is for those people who just kind of want to get out there and go, not have to mess with too much stuff. Maybe all they have is a phone that they're recording with and things like that. I was looking at the Rode Wireless Pro 2, or maybe just the Pro. I don't think there's a 2 in there. They have a lot of products. And that mic setup and all the rest of them are very similar, where it's like this big, chunky, square thing that most people just clip on either like to their shirt with magnets or just like clip onto the collar. It's got a big logo on it, and it's just this big, chunky thing that looks so ugly. And you can get pretty much any of those mics set up to be a little bit more I can't remember words today. You can set it up to be a little nicer looking, because you can get like the sort of traditional lav mic setup where you're plugging it into the audio jack of the receiver, running that up through your shirt, and then just having a little mic that clips onto your shirt there. And that was definitely an option, and I could have gone that way. But it's like, oh, not that having to pipe it through your clothing is that big of a deal, but I'm like, I don't know. It's really nice to just be able to clip this on and go. This is the whole mic setup. There is no extra cables or things going on. I don't have to worry about either the location of the receiver being blocked by my body, getting to the transmitter being blocked, trying to get to the receiver. I don't know. It just seemed more complicated, and the real kicker, right, was really the fact that setup, at least the one that I actually wanted, was twice as expensive as this. So I'm like, all right, there are some benefits. That's definitely a more professional setup because it's recording audio straight onto the device itself. So in the event that your phone recording gets messed up, or like whatever you're recording with, the video is messed up, or like the transmitter loses connection with the receiver, there's still good audio. That the whole point of that mic setup is that unless the thing just like disintegrates, it just breaks, the actual product, the mic itself, you have almost no chance of losing your audio, because it's got things to protect against peaking and all these fancy things. And so that definitely seems like, if I get more serious about making videos, that there's definitely a lot of cool options there. But that for the most part, that's like something to upgrade. A lot of those features are not things I need right now, or they're just nice to have, not necessarily completely necessary. I'm gonna switch hands here. So yeah, like I said, it's windy, and I'm sure some of that wind is being picked up, but it's way less than was being picked up by the iPhone microphone. This mic did come with a little windscreen, or dead cat, as they call it in the biz, I guess. It makes sense, I guess. It's like a little kind of ball of fur. I mean, I'll show it to you. This thing, apparently that's called a dead cat. And that's just like, who came up with that name? It's like, why not just call it like a hairball or something? I don't know. But like for me, especially how big that thing is, in a lot of ways it kind of defeats the purpose of this kind of like small, sleek, out of the way design here. And I don't know, it's not like the windiest day ever. It's not like I sound like I'm in the middle of a hurricane or something. And so I figured, and I'm gonna have to do some testing, right? But I figured just like a little bit, the most minimal amount of wind noise isn't the worst. And I kind of, the whole point I bought this mic is that it's, there's a word I'm looking for that I can't think of. But it's low profile, And so doing more testing is really just going to be what is needed to see the best way to use this mic setup. But I'm pretty happy so far, just after my initial test before I started recording this. I guess I don't really know in what ways my voice might get lost, like, 'cause obviously it's clipped on my left side here. If I'm kind of like turning my head and talking in like different directions, how much that affects it. But it's definitely still, I think, gonna pick stuff up better no matter where my head is compared to like the phone microphone. Yeah, didn't necessarily expect for this to be like a little mini product review here. But that's the thing with these vlogs. I still don't know what to call them. Like they are vlogs in the sense that it's just a video log of me and my life. But for some reason, I like cringe at the word vlog. It's just like, it's like content, right? I'm a content creator. I make content. Like, it just sounds so corporate and businessy. Everyone's trying to get into content creation. Everyone's trying to be a vlogger. So I don't know. For some reason, I don't like it. But I do like doing them. So that's cool. I don't know. The people who film these as they're just walking out and about, I'm very curious as to how they normally do that. I mean, like the actual, like the pro, someone like a Casey Neistat has an actual camera. They're not doing it on their phone. And so that just sounds insane, because just using my phone, it takes, I don't even know, maybe 5 minutes. And then my arm is tired. I guess you can just keep switching arms, but I just imagine how heavy a camera would be. I don't know. I'm contemplating whether or not I want to try to do time codes for these. And just overall in general, what's the easiest way to keep track of like what you've been talking about for the time codes? Because I've been doing a podcast recently, trying to get that off the ground. It's on a different channel. I won't go into all the details, but for any random person that might be watching this, it's the KFBF Guest Bedroom. It's a kind of funny best friend podcast. If you know what that means, cool. If you don't worry about it. But while you might have every intention to write down the time codes as you're recording the podcast live. It's hard to remember to do. It's hard to kind of like know exactly when you're finished speaking on a topic. And it's hard to just kind of be lost in the conversation. It's the thing that kind of makes me envy those folks who have an entire production team and they've got like a guy at the computer who's controlling all the cameras and could be writing down time codes and all that fun stuff. See, my arm's already tired. I feel like it's only been a couple minutes. And I feel like the longer I just film in general, the more tired my arms are going to get, no matter how much I'm switching between them. It's weird. It's weird. It's like I like the presentation of being out in nature and going on a walk more than just like statically sitting down. But I don't know. Like always, I didn't press record on this with any particular idea of what to talk about in mind. I suppose I can just maybe wrap this one up with a talk about how my last week went, because I can definitely feel the progress, and that's been nice. Generally speaking, 2025 has been a year where I've pushed myself and tried to, just accomplish more and grow as a human being in, I would say, a more robust way than I ever have before. Oh man, my arm hurts. How do people do this? It doesn't like hurt, but it's tired, It's like your legs being sore after running. And the longer I film this, the less time it takes for my arm to start being really uncomfortable each time I switch between them. I always kind of underestimate how close the camera is to me, like when I'm like filming myself, because I don't film with the selfie camera, because I if I've got a nicer camera on this device, I want to use the nicer camera, and it's not that hard to kind of make sure that it's pointed at my face. But yeah, if there's one thing that I've learned over the last 2 months, it's this. It's so easy, and I'm sure that this varies person to person, but for me anyway, it's so incredibly easy for me to get frustrated whenever I'm struggling with life, and if there's a certain place I want to be or a certain goal I want to achieve, it's easy for me to kind of be upset and bummed out that I'm not where I want to be, and view the best path forward being the one that has me pushing myself incredibly hard and doing a lot of work in a short amount of time, even if it hurts, even if it makes me uncomfortable, to just like envision some sort of world in which I take, a week, a month, and I work myself super hard in order to kind of like catch up, or like, you know, like put myself in a remarkably better place to then kind of slow down and do things on a more sustainable basis, but that like I want some sort of, I don't know, way to catch up, to just get to where I'm trying to go faster. And it's funny that, you know, even before trying to look up self-help videos or read books or do all this stuff and listen to other people's advice on kind of like what are the best ways to improve your life, I can kind of sit back. The wind's coming at me. We'll see how this sounds in the video. But it's like I can sit there and logically say, oh, this is probably not the best way to go about this. It's hard to really push yourself and really work incredibly hard for any amount of time, let alone any sustained amount of time, like multiple days or multiple weeks. You know, if you can even bring yourself to do it at all, sooner or later you're going to burn out. And, you know, therein lies the problem, where it's like, I've had, I don't know, maybe some instances of trying to at least do a particular thing a lot in a short amount of time. And the problem there is, for most things in life, you're going to want to try to do things in the way that is going to be the most sustainable. Because, not for everything, but for a lot of things, making a lot of progress in a short amount of time can often wind up being undone by a massive drop-off of you just like quitting entirely because you're burnt out. And then you might lose the majority of any sort of progress that you made. And then you kind of have to go back and start over and do it again. Man, it's windy. And on the flip side, even if it makes sense that doing little things and trying to build up to where you want to be and just making even the most minimal amount of progress day by day, even though that's it would make sense why that would be easier, it would make sense why that would be more sustainable, it's not very attractive. You know what I mean? When you try to envision all of those itty-bitty tiny improvements getting you to the life you've always wanted to live, you start to try to do this math problem and, you know, think about how those little things, how long is it going to take for those to actually add up and get me to where I want to be. And the answer is you can never really know, because this isn't just some simple math problem. This isn't just a basic addition equation. There's so many variables and so many ways different things can affect your life. And even when progress feels slow, if you can focus on trending upward and moving forward and making more improvements than you do setbacks, you're going to be you're going to be getting to where you want to go, no matter how long it takes. And it's you know, it's something that I don't think anyone wants to hear, but it's not your job to know when it's going to happen, to try to figure out how long this is going to take. It's your job to just keep going, because life is unpredictable. And any number of random events can affect things both negatively and positively. And so even when progress feels slow, when you're taking steps forward and finding yourself in a better place than you've ever been before, that's awesome. And if you can maintain that and not, run into that cliff, that fall off, that burnout that might strip you of the progress that you've made, then you're just going to be set up in a better way than you were trying to work really hard and then falling off. You might be just inching your way forward and feeling like, oh yes, I'm making progress, but it's so slow. If I continue to go at this pace, I'm not going to get to where I want to be for another 10 years. And that doesn't sound good. That sounds like it kind of sucks. But the thing you have to realize is you don't know what opportunities are going to come your way, and you don't know necessarily all the different ways that you're going to be able to improve, right? You might be, I don't know, say you're a runner and you're just getting out there and you're running just a little bit each day, maybe not even each day, maybe just a little bit each week, and maybe your eventual goal is to be able to run a marathon, and it's a task that seems truly impossible. And maybe every week you're running more, but it's just a little bit more, and it doesn't feel like you're getting to where you need to go fast enough. But you never know at what point you might see a massive jump, or maybe you're feeling really good and you're having a great week, and all of a sudden you decide to run way more than you normally do, not necessarily because you're trying to expedite the process, but simply because you feel good and you've been doing well at this activity, and you find yourself comfortable enough to push yourself to do more. And all of a sudden, not only are you progressing in the little ways, but you're actually improving how fast you're progressing, and even that is incrementally getting better. And then maybe you get an opportunity, maybe an old friend reaches out, or you see some promotion at the gym, and it's some program to train you to run a marathon, and it's practically free. And it would have been the kind of thing that maybe when you hadn't begun at all and you had made no progress, you might not have thought that you were ready for that. But now that you have been presented in this opportunity and you've been making the progress, that simple thing could be the opportunity for you to excel. I'm really learning the value of kind of little incremental improvements, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I never really know how to end these things. So, till next time. Peace out.